Welcome to Islamic University in Uganda main campus, Mbale. Islamic University in Uganda was established in 1988 as an affiliate of the Organization of Islamic Conference for English-speaking member countries of the OIC. Today, the university has 4 campuses spread across the country with over 50 academic programs taught under 6 faculties. Today, the university, in conjunction with Islamic Committee of International Red Crescent, World Assembly of Muslim Youth, Qatar Red Crescent, and Forum for International Islamic Humanitarian Law, is holding the first internal moot court competition in memory of the late Alhaji Abubakar Kachama Mayanja, the first rector of the university.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بداية نشكر الجامعة والطلبة على إنجاح هذه المسابقة، ومن خلال هذه المسابقة أردنا بصفة مختصرة بدون أن نتفلسف أن نطبق قول الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم: المؤمن القوي أحب وخير عند الله من المؤمن الضعيف. قوي في مجال تخصصه، قوي في الدفاع عن المظلومين، قوي في نصرة مبادئ الحق والعدالة. إذن من خلال هذه المسابقة كذلك أردنا أن نحضر إن شاء الله المسابقة المقبلة على مستوى دولة أوغندا، والتي نتوسم خير إن شاء الله بفوزكم، ليس بالمرتبة الثالثة أو الثانية ولكن بالمرتبة الأولى. وإن شاء الله في المستقبل كذلك سنحاول توسيع هذه المسابقة على المستوى الوطني ثم على مستوى شرق إفريقيا. ولكن أنتم اليوم هو جيل التأسيس لهذه المبادرة المستقبلية.
It will start by participants coming here and choose between these envelopes. You choose one. One tells you that you are a prosecutor, so you are going to prosecute your offenders, and another one tells you that from now you're a defender who is going to defend for your offenders. And it is high time you come here now. This is for Group A. Liberian mercenaries was attacked at one village in southwestern Ivory Coast, which killed 23 people, including 13 Ivory civilians, of course with women and children, 6 from Burkina Faso and 3 from Nigeria, and 1 from the Republican troops. What is required? The prosecutor position. What type of crime and the legal basis on which to base your prosecution? If you're a defender, the defense position, what are the reasons and legal basis that can be presented by the defense?
And now, who goes first? Defense?
As we read the indictment before, the case was based on Additional Protocol 3, the Rome Statute, and the Torture Convention. As we were trying to submit of lack of jurisdiction, we cited the Rome Statute, which prohibits the retrospective effect of bringing charges, since the act was committed in 1985 and 1990, and Afghanistan ratified the Rome Statute in 2003 after the coming in force of the Rome Statute. We therefore pray that let this case be dismissed and the accused person be acquitted, and further that the case is not admissible since it was not referred to in any state party, and it would have allowed the Afghan government to try the Afghan general in relation to the Act.
Under international humanitarian law, there are basically three principles that have to be abided during war. The principle of military necessity, proportionality, and distinction. The prosecution utterly failed to prove that these principles have been violated. The Liberian mercenaries totally deny any allegation of violation of the international humanitarian law because whatever they did was guided by the three basic principles.
Principle of distinction entails that the party to a conflict must be able to distinguish between the combatants and the non-combatants. Your Lordship, the means by which these people used shelling the city of Zagreb, there was no way they could be able to distinguish between the combatants, since this mean would actually take whether the person was a combatant or was a non-combatant.
When you read the facts of the case, there is nothing that shows that the ambulance had been misused. And early on, I said it to this honorable court that an ambulance has an emblem. So there is nothing like it was being misused. It had an emblem, and it was taking patients and doctors to a medical center.
In light of Article 75(1) of the Rome Statute, the prosecution prays that there be reparation in form of compensation, restitution to the relatives of the deceased, and rehabilitation of the detained persons on being set free. The prosecution has justified the extreme gravity of the crime, hence prays that the accused be imprisoned for life under Article 77 of the Rome Statute.
This was not a crime. It was because these people were destabilizing national peace and the public safety, and the fact that this honorable court has no jurisdiction to try this crime because it was an internal disturbance, of which it is not an international crime. Your Honor, sir, basing on the facts in light of the above recited verses of Quran 190 and Quran 2239, we therefore find that the prosecution has failed to prove this case beyond reasonable doubt, and pursuant to Article 66 to the Rome Statute, we humbly pray that their chosen person is found with no case to answer. We so pray.
Additional Protocol 51 of Geneva Convention. There is protection of any civilian in whatever circumstance. It prohibits anyone to discriminatively attack any building with their knowledge that they are civilians. So in whatever circumstance, whenever you have that knowledge that they are civilians and you attack, you commit our crime. So even if, as the case the example you've given in Libya, those people have to take precaution so that they distinguish between the civilian and the combatants.
End of session 1. Court adjourned till the next day. Day 2, court opens.
تنبيه أول للمتبارزين. أولاً احترام الوقت 15 دقيقة لكل مجموعة. ثانياً الاستعمال في المصطلحات القانونية. ثالثاً لا تنسى أن دورك دور المدافع وليس دورك دور النيابة العامة، فلا يجب أن نخلط الأمور. رابعاً كل شيء الحين راح تكون، لو في المراحل الأولى كانت ظروف مخففة، الحين راح تكون ظروف مشددة، ولهذا طريقة التقديم، كيفية التقديم، كذلك كيفية توزيع الأدوار ما بين المتبارين، كله راح يؤخذ في عين الحسبان.
The prosecution is alleging that our client committed such offences as they so allege crimes against humanity, and the prosecution quoted Article 7. I would like to bring it to the notice of this court that Article 7 is in protection of civilians. People detained in war, that were detained in our commander's camp, were not civilians. So I would like to disrepute such article as quoted by the prosecution.
The people who are protected under Article 5, as you said, they were non-civilians according to you, but according to us, the civilians were involved. You took the civilians in your detention, and you detained the civilians purporting that they are combatants. They weren't combatants. They were civilians.
For the prayer, the defense prays the Honorable Court that the allegations of the prosecution be dismissed and case ruled in favor of the defense on the following grounds. Under Article 66 of the Rome Statute, in order to convict the accused, the court must be convinced of the guilt of the accused beyond reasonable doubt. And so far from the prosecution side, we are going to be the failed to prove the case beyond reasonable doubt to our knowledge.
In our prayers, we do pray that actually this court finds the defense guilty of the war crimes committed. These people, they killed, they murdered, they tortured with the intent. They killed, they buried those people inhumanly, which shows that they had the mental. So we pray to God to find the defense liable.
My Lord, we deny entirely any allegation of violation of international humanitarian law. It is because whatever we committed was in line in the principle, was clearly guided by the three principles we have recited above. We therefore pray that this honorable court find that choose no case to answer. We so pray.
Should we go on to be deceived by counsel of defense that whatever action they took was guided by the three principles, yet when they were going to the medical units and the medical transport which was the ambulance, they did not apply the principle of distinction. That this honorable court finds the accused persons guilty and be sentenced accordingly of all the charges. The so pray.
minutes presentation, okay? Prosecution or defense. Now, 5 minutes should be the total objection time. So if you waste time in objecting on non-issues, you are in for it. It should be matters of law or facts.
It is upon the unfair previous judgments that were passed in this case that we appeal to this honorable court that the defense that intentionally committed these crimes that are prohibited by international humanitarian law, crimes against humanity, war crimes, the crimes that led to massive loss of lives, that should be held responsible.
My Lord, the fact is that this court has no jurisdiction. If these crimes were committed after 2002, then we could concur with our position. So, my Lord, pursuant to Article 66 to the Rome Statute still, I pray that the accused is found with no cause to answer. We so pray.
لعل الاختيار أو للإجابة ممكن أن تكون إجابة أكاديمية، وأخرى ممكن نقول إنسانية أو سياسية، أو لها سمعة علمية ليس في أوغندا ولكن في العالم الإسلامي. ولهذا نتمنى إن شاء الله في المستقبل في التصنيفات المقبلة للجامعات ستحتل مكانة مرموقة عالميا.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I think many of the words that we all have been said by Professor Faust. I'm sure our sister and brother who traveled and came here have also said the same statements, and that is appreciation. We would like to thank the forum for all the facilitation, the inputs you have made, even your time and physical appearance, because you could have easily delegated to other colleagues, but you came yourselves. So we are very grateful and we should give them a big applause.
It is an honor to the late Abu Mayanja and his family for the IUIU to organize such a great annual event in his memory. This inaugural moot, the preparation and mentoring of East Africa's upcoming lawyers is timely, considering the fact that the Ugandan Bar at the Law Development Center has set up pre-entry exams for future advocates and legal practitioners. A moot, as we have seen, is a mockery of an actual court session where parties, through their legal representatives, battle out a dispute. It is good practical training for law students. This is what brings out the lawyer in a person.
The time is now to pronounce the winner of Abu Mayanja Kachama Moot of 2011. Are you ready? Control your pressure. The G scored how much? 70. Scored 70. And F scored 71. And F has it. Thank you very much.